あなたがすべてを宇宙に委ねるという、人生で最も安らかで、最も力強い心の在り方を、まだご存じないとしたら、あなたは、人生で最も大切な宝を、すぐそばに置きながら、それに気づかずに生きておられるのかもしれません。もし今、あなたの心が、どうしようもない不安や、焦り、あるいは恐れで曇っているのなら、それは、あなたが、人生という大河の流れに逆らい、必死で小さなオールを漕ぎ続けている証拠かもしれませんな。そして、その小さなオールを握りしめたまま、なぜ、私の人生はこんなにも苦しいのだと嘆いてはおられませんか。その苦しみ、その疲れ、その不安、それらが一体どこからやってくるのか、深くお考えになったことはおありでしょうか。それは、あなたが、あなたの人生のすべてを、ご自身のその小さな、あまりにも小さながの力だけで、どうにかしようと、必死で握りしめているからなのです。空を飛ぶために生まれてきた鳥が、その翼の力を忘れ、地上を歩くことだけが自分の人生だと思い込み、必死で泥の中を歩こうともがいている。あるいは、大海を自由に泳ぐために生まれた魚が、水の外にこそ真実があるはずだと信じ、必死で岸に上がろうともがいている。今のあなたの姿は、それに似てはおりませんかな。あなたは、宇宙という無限の大海、無限の空の中で、その大いなる力に抱かれて生きるように、本来は設計されているのです。それなのに、自らその流れを拒否し、私の力で、この海を泳ぎ切ってみせる。私の力で、この空を歩いてみせると、不自然な、そして不可能な努力を続けておられる。だから、苦しいのです。私は、中村天風と申します。私は長年、それこそ何万人という人々の人生の浮き沈み、その苦悩と、そこからの再生を、じっと見つめてまいりました。その中で、心の底から確信した、たった一つの、しかし最も偉大な真理がございます。それは、すべてを放っておき、大いなる宇宙の力に、ただ委ねなさい、という、この一点に尽きる、ということです。今日は皆様方に、この委ねるということが、決して諦めや無気力、無責任といった消極的なものでは断じてなく、むしろ、これ以上ないほどの絶対積極の心で、宇宙の無限の力を、この我が身に全面的に引き出す、最強の心の態度であることを、私の魂を込め、丁寧にお話申し上げるつもりです。天風先生、委ねるとは、努力を放棄しろと、そうおっしゃるのですか。人事を尽くさず、ただ怠惰になれと、そう思われた方も、おられるかもしれません。私が今日、最もお伝えしたいのは、それが天と地ほども違う誤解である、ということです。もし、そう感じられたのなら、あなたはまだ、人生を、いえ、この大宇宙を動かしておられる、本当に偉大な力の存在に気づいておられんのですな。いいですか、皆様方。私が申し上げる委ねるというのは、人事を尽くさぬことでは、断じてありません。人事を尽くした上で、なお、です。なお、人間の小さな知恵ではどうにもならぬことを、あれこれと思い悩み、心配し、恐れる、その余計な心の雑音を、一切合切、きれいさっぱり、やめてしまいなさい、ということなのです。まず、はっきりと申し上げておきましょう。あなたが今、夜も眠れぬほど頭を抱えて悩んでおられること、その心配事の、そのほとんどは、実のところ、あなたの力では、どうにもならぬことばかりではありませんかな。例えば、一度、起きてしまった過去の失敗。例えば、まだ来てもいない未来に、どんな災難が待ち構えているかという。取り越し苦労。例えば、他人が、あなたのことをどう評価し、どう思うかという。他人の心の中。これらはすべて、あなたの力の及ばぬ領域です。それにもかかわらず、私たちは、そのどうにもならぬことを、どうにかしようと、心のエネルギーを、それこそ湯水のように、無駄に消耗し続けている。それは例えるなら、小さなバケツ一つで、 広大な太平洋の水をすべて汲み出してやろうと奮闘しているようなものです。実に滑稽なことではありませんかな。静かにご自身の内側を見つめてみていただきたい。あなたの心臓はあなたが動けと命令せずとも今この瞬間も力強く厳粛に動いてくれている。あなたが眠っておられる間も血液はあなたの体の隅々まで命を運び続けてくれている。食べたものが一人でに消化され血となり肉となっている。これらすべて一体誰がやってくれておるのですかな。あなたですか。違いますな。宇宙です。私たちが大自然と呼んでも神と呼んでも宇宙霊宇宙生命と呼んでも構いません。とにかく私地人間を生かしてくれておる偉大なる何かの力です。私はこれを宇宙の本体と呼びますが、この本体は無限の力、無限の知恵、無限の愛そのものなのです。あなたも私もその偉大なる力の一端であり、その大いなるお働きによって今この瞬間も厳粛に生かされておるのです。宇宙はあなたに最高の生命と最高の幸福を常に惜しみなく与えようとしておられる。それにもかかわらず多くの人々は自分の小さな小賢しい頭で考え出したこうあるべきだ、こうなっては絶対に困るという実に狭い窮屈ながという物差しでこの広大な宇宙の働きを無理やりに押し込め制限しようとしてしまう。だから苦しくなるのです。大いなる生命の流れに自ら逆らおうとするからもがき沈みそうになるのです。宇宙という無限の力が流れるホースをあなた自身の心配や恐れという足でぎゅっと踏みつけねじ曲げておいて、なぜ命の水が流れてこないのだと嘆いているのと同じです。農夫の仕事を考えてごらんなさい。農夫は春になれば一生懸命に畑を耕し、良い種を選び、それをまき、水をやります。これは人間がやるべきことです。いわゆる人事を尽くすということですな。素晴らしいことです。しかしです。そのまいた種から可憐な芽を出させ、太陽の光を当て、恵みの雨を降らせ、やがて黄金の稲穂のような豊かな実りを与えるのは一体誰の仕事でしょう。農夫の仕事ですか。断じて違います。それは天の仕事です。宇宙の領域なのです。もしその農夫がまいた種の横に四六時中座り込んで、おい、本当に芽が出るだろうか。私の思った通りに育たなかったらどうしてくれるのだ。ああ、明日は日照りかもしれない。いや、大雨かもしれない。と、毎日毎日、眉間にシワを寄せ、不安に震え、心配ばかりしていたら、どうなりますかな。まず、その農夫自身が、心身ともに疲れ果ててしまいます。そればかりか、不思議なことに、その農夫が発する消極的な心の波動が、かえって、作物の健やかな育ちを、妨げてしまうものなのです。心配という行為は、まだ芽も出ぬ種を、毎日、指で掘り起こしては育っているか、と、確認しているようなものです。そんなことをすれば、育つものも育ちません。人生も、これと寸分違わぬものなのです。あなたは、あなたのやるべきこと、つまり人事を尽くすことだけを、やればよろしい。では、人生における人事を尽くすとは、一体何か。それは、今、この瞬間に、あなたの心を絶対積極の状態に保つこと、明るく、朗らかに、喜んで、生きることです。目の前にある、なすべき仕事に、感謝の心で、勇気を持って、取り組むことです。人事を尽くしたら、あとは、どうするか。あとは、ニコニコして、天にすべてを任せればよいのです。宇宙さん、私は、私にできる最善を尽くしました。あとは、すべて、あなた様の最善のお計らいに、お任せ申し上げます。と、心からの信頼を込めて、そう、放つのです。これこそが、委ねるという、最も積極的な心の態度なのです。 これは、決して何もしないことではありませんぞ。自分の小賢しい心配や、未来への不安という心の雑音を、宇宙の偉大なる作業場に、一切差し挟まない。という、最も強い決意と、宇宙への絶対の信頼の表れなのです。では、具体的に、何を放ち、何を委ねていくべきか。まず、あなたが真っ先に手放すべき重たい荷物は、過去への後悔です。あの時、ああしていれば、今頃は、なぜ、あんな過ちを犯してしまったのだろう。多くの人々が、過ぎ去って、もはやどうにもならぬ過去という亡霊に、今、この瞬間の尊い生命を食い尽くされて生きています。いいですか。あなたが後悔しているとき、あなたの心はどこにありますか。今には、ありませんな。あなたは、存在しない過去という場所に、あなたの心のエネルギーを、延々と垂れ流しているのです。それは、昨日炊いたご飯が腐ってしまったことを、今日も明日も嘆き続け、目の前にある炊きたての、温かいご飯に手をつけようともしないのと同じです。あまりにも、もったいない。過去は、変えられません。しかし、過去の意味は、変えることができます。あなたがあの失敗があったからこそ、今の私があるのだ。あの苦しみこそが、私を強くしてくれたのだと、今のあなたが、その過去に感謝の意味を与えたとき、過去は初めて、あなたを縛る鎖から、あなたを支える土台へと変わるのです。そのためにも、一度、その過去への執着を、宇宙に委ねてごらんなさい。宇宙さん、あの出来事も、きっと最善の計画の一部だったのでしょう。私は、もう、そのことを裁くのをやめますと、次に、あなたが放っておくべきもの、それは、人間関係における悩みです。あの人が、私をどう思っているか、なぜ、夫は、妻は、子供は、私の思う通りになってくれないのか。あの時、あの人に言われた、あの言葉が、どうしても許せない。これらもすべて、あなたが、あなたのがで、他人の心という、どうにもならぬものを、コントロールしようとしている証拠です。他人の心を、あなたの思い通りに変えようとすることほど、傲慢で、そして不可能なことはありません。あなたにできるのは、ただ、あなたご自身の心を、愛と、誠と、親切で満たすことだけです。あなたが、人事を尽くして、その心で、相手に接する。あとは、相手がそれをどう受け止め、どう反応するかは、それは相手の領域であり、宇宙の領域です。そこは、もう、あなたが心配するところではありません。私は、愛を込めて、やるべきことをやりました。あとは、宇宙さん、よろしくと、委ねるのです。特に、皆様方が手放しがたいのは、愛する者への心配でしょう。ご自身の子供や、孫、あるいはパートナー、愛するがゆえに、あの人は、この先、大丈夫だろうか、もっと、こうすべきなのにと、心を痛めておられる。そのお心は、尊いものです。しかし、その心配が、どうこして過干渉やコントロールになってはおられませんか。その心配の奥底には、私が、どうにかしなければ、あの子はダメになるという、相手の生命力、すなわち、相手の中に宿る宇宙の力を、信頼していないという、不信が隠れてはおりませんか。本当の愛とは、相手を信頼することです。相手の人生もまた、大いなる宇宙の最善のお計らいの中にあると、信頼し、見守ることです。もちろん、人事を尽くして、助言や手助けはする。しかし、その結果、相手がどうなろうとも、それは相手の人生の学びであると、どっしりと構え、宇宙に委ねるのです。その、あなたの信頼という静かなエネルギーこそが、実は、相手を最も力づけることになるのです。そして、多くの人々が、特に人生の後半において、強く握りしめてしまうもの、それは、お金や物への執着です。老後の資金は、本当にこれで足りるだろうか。今、持っているものを、失ったらどうしよう。この失うことへの恐怖が、どれほど、あなたの今を、 貧しく、みすぼらしいものにしていることか。いいですか。宇宙というものは、無限の豊かさの源泉なのです。空気が、なくなる心配をしますかな。太陽の光が、明日から有料になったらどうしようと、悩みますかな。宇宙は、あなたが生きていく上で必要なものすべてを、常に、惜しみなく与え続けてくれているのです。それなのに、あなたは足りない、足りないと、その無限の源泉から、小さなコップで水をすくっては、これが、私のすべてだ、と、それを守ることばかりに必死になっている。その欠乏の心が、宇宙からの、さらなる豊かさの流れを、せき止めてしまっているのです。やるべきことは、人事を尽くして、誠実に働き、備えることです。しかし、その上で、結果は宇宙に委ねるのです。私は、宇宙の無限の豊かさの中に生かされている。だから、必要なものは、必要な時に、必ず与えられる。この絶対の信頼、この心の豊かさこそが、逆説的ではありますが、現実の豊かさを、あなたの人生に引き寄せる、唯一の法則なのです。失うことを恐れて、握りしめるのをやめなさい。宇宙を信頼し、感謝して手放す心を持ったとき、あなたの手には、初めて、もっと大きな豊かさが入る隙間ができるのです。そして何より、あなたが放っておいてよいもの、それは、あなたの病気や、今直面している不運でさえも、なのです。なんだと、天風先生、それは無茶だ、と、驚かれましたかな。しかし、これこそが、真理なのです。多くの人々は、ひとたび病気になりますと、その病気という観念に、心をがっちりと、まるで鎖で縛られたかのように、掴まれ、支配されてしまうのです。ああ、私は病人だ。もう、先は長くないかもしれん。この痛みはいつになったら消えてくれるのだ。朝から晩まで、寝ても覚めても、病気のことばかりを考えておられる。それが、どれほど愚かなことであるか、お気づきになりませんか。あなたの心は、偉大な力を持っています。心が集中したところに、エネルギーは流れます。あなたが病気だ、病気だと、その暗く、重たい心で病気を見つめれば、あなたの生命エネルギーは、ご丁寧に、その病気を、ますます強固にするために、使われてしまうのです。病気を本当に治すのは、医者でもなければ、薬でもありません。医者や薬は、あくまでお手伝いです。本当に治すのは、あなたの体に、生まれながらに宿っておる、宇宙の偉大なる力、すなわち自然治癒力、宇宙生命そのものなのです。ですから、あなたが、なすべきことは、たった一つです。病気のことは、もう、放っておきなさい。医者に任せるところは、感謝して任せて、あなたは、あなたの心の焦点を、病気という暗闇から、あなたが本来持っている、完全円満な健康という光の側へと、毅然として、移すのです。ああ、空が青くて、なんと気持ちが良いのだろう。今日いただく、この一杯のお水が、なんと美味しいのだろう。今、こうして息ができることが、どれほど、ありがたいことか、と、今、この瞬間に、確かに存在している喜びと感謝に、あなたの心の全エネルギーを集中させてごらんなさい。私の体には、宇宙の無限の生命力が、今もとうとうと流れ込んでいる。私は、日に日に、あらゆる面で、良くなっておる。この絶対積極の心で、宇宙にすべてを委ねきったとき、宇宙の力は、それこそ雪崩を打ったように、あなたの体に流れ込み、あなたが小さな頭で治らなければどうしようと心配していた病気や不調和など、あっという間に、どこかへ消し去ってくださるのです。これは、単なる精神論ではありませんぞ。厳粛なる、宇宙の法則なのです。あなたが、その小さながで、治らなかったら、どうしようと心配する心を、きっぱりと捨て去り、すべては、宇宙が、私にとって最善の形にしてくださる、と、完全に、絶対的に、宇宙を信頼しきったとき、その、あなたの絶対の信頼に応えて、宇宙は、初めて、その真の力を、 あなたの人生に表してくださるのです。委ねるのです。病気も、悩みも、不運も、運命さえも、すべて、大いなる宇宙に、お任せしてごらんなさい。どうですかな、皆様方。私が、心の底からお伝え申し上げたいことが、あなたの魂に、少しは響いてきましたかな。すべて放っておき、宇宙に委ねなさい。この言葉は、人生の戦いを放棄する、弱々しい敗北宣言などでは、断じてありません。人間の、あまりにも小さな力を超えた、宇宙の、無限の力を、この我がものとするための、最も勇気に満ちた勝利宣言なのですぞ。あなたは、これまで、小さな小舟で、ご自身の腕力だけを頼りに、その我という名の、小さな、折れそうなオールを、必死で漕いで、人生という嵐の海を、渡ろうとしてこられた。もう、その疲れ果てたオールは、そっと、手放してごらんなさい。あなたの小舟には、生まれながらにして、宇宙の力という、無限の動力を持つ。それは立派な穂が、備わっておるのですから。その穂とは、あなたの絶対積極の心であり、宇宙への絶対の信頼です。あなたが、なすべきことは、ただ一つ。私は、もう、心配するのを、やめました。私は、もう、恐れるのを、やめました。私は、もう、他人を憎むのを、やめました。私は、もう、過去を悔やむのを、やめました。と、心の底から、固く、決意することです。そして、その偉大なる信頼の方を、宇宙の風を受けるために、高く、掲げることです。あとは、どうでしょう。あなたが、その小さなオールを漕ぐのを、完全にやめたとき、その時、初めて、宇宙という、すべてを知り尽くした、温かく、力強い追い風が、あなたの方を、豊かに満たし始めるのです。その風は、あなたを、あなたがご自身の小さな頭では想像もできなかったような、最高に素晴らしい目的地へと、穏やかに、しかし力強く、運んでくださるのです。あなたが、必死でオールを漕いでいた時には、決して見ることのできなかった、光り輝く景色が、そこには、必ずや広がっておるのです。すべてを委ねると決めた人の朝は、違います。今日も、あれを心配し、これを恐れなければという、重苦しい目覚めではありません。さあ、宇宙さん、今日は、私という道具を使って、どんな素晴らしいことをしてくださいますか、という、喜びと信頼に満ちた、軽い目覚めになるのです。人との出会いが変わります。あなたが我を捨て、宇宙の流れに乗るとき、あなたに本当に必要なご縁が、まるで引き寄せられるかのように、あなたの前に現れ始めます。物事の運びが、不思議なほど、スムーズになります。あなたが我でこじ開けようとしていたときには、ガンとして動かなかった扉が、宇宙に委ねた途端、まるで待っていたかのように、すっと、向こうから開いたりするものです。これが、人事を尽くして天命を待つという言葉の、本当の意味なのです。人事を尽くす絶対積極の心で、今を生きることと、天命を待つ人事を尽くしたら、あとは宇宙に全てを委ねることは、二つで一つなのです。どちらが欠けても、人生の方は、上がりません。もう、お分かりになりましたな。あなたの人生に、苦しみという影を落としていたのは、他の誰でもない、あなたご自身の、小賢しいがであり、心配であり、恐怖心という、心の曇りだったのです。今日、この瞬間から、その曇りを、晴らしてしまいなさい。過去を悔やむのをやめなさい。未来を恐れるのをやめなさい。他人をコントロールしようとするのをやめなさい。すべて放っておくのです。そして、ただ、今、この瞬間に、心から感謝し、心から喜び、宇宙の偉大なる愛と力を、心の底の底から、信頼してごらんなさい。我が人生は、宇宙の絶対の力によって、必ず、最善に導かれる。そう、強く、信じきるのです。あなたが、その絶対積極の心で、すべてを天に、 宇宙にお任せしたとき、あなたの人生は今日この瞬間から劇的に美しく好転し始めます。奇跡というものはどこか遠い外からやってくるのではありません。あなたがすべてを委ねますと、宇宙に心を開いたそのあなたの心の中にすでにはっきりと存在しておるのですから。さあ、顔を上げてごらんなさい。朗らかに胸を張ってごらんなさい。あなたは宇宙にこれ以上なく愛された絶対の存在なのです。その誇りを胸に、今日からすべてを委ね、すべてを喜び、力強く人生を歩んでいかれますように。必ずできますとも私が心から保証申し上げます。
We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. It is our powerful desire that in these hours that we are together, you come to recognize that you stand in what we want to call your point of attraction. It's this vibrational, emotional, mood, atmosphere. It's what's going on with you. And if we can convince you that through life that you have a magnificent vibrational reality that has the potential of fully manifesting all the dollars you want, all the relationships you want, all of the material objects that you want, all of the conditions and circumstances and events and lifestyle, all of the lovely things that you want, that life has shown you that you would feel better in the having of. All of those magnificent manifestations can flow easily into your realization when you contour your mood or atmosphere in a way that does not oppose it. In other words, you can't want something that you doubt. You can't believe that you can't have something that you want and have it. So we'll be talking about that. We'll show you how to get to that place. It's so much easier than you have ever believed it to be. This business of creating your own vibrational atmosphere is so much fun because with a little bit of attention to it, you can do a big shifting in your point of attraction. And when you do a shift, even a slight shift in what you are outputting vibrationally, the differences in what comes back to you is amazing. We want you to live happily ever after. We want you to understand that there is a path that you have set into motion and that you are continuing to set into motion. And that when you figure out how to feel the vibe of your path and you work consistently by focusing to be on that vibrational frequency, that the manifestational evidence will help you to know that you are right on your path. Being the deliberate creator of your own reality does not mean looking for the path. It means creating an atmosphere that allows you to see the path right beneath your feet. Do you believe that? Do you believe that Source is at your back? Do you believe that the well-being is really yours to be lived? If you don't, it's only because you've been depriving yourself of it and you're letting the now reality contour your beliefs. We want you to believe in the laws of the universe as we know them to be. We want you to believe in your emotional guidance system as you feel it all day, every day. We want you to practice thinking and feeling on purpose until you can show yourself that you can feel outside of the conditions. That was one of the things that Esther enjoyed most about last evening's escapade. It was more funny to her than anything else. It wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't upheaval. It wasn't anything to condemn or blame. It was only a problem that required a solution. And that is the zest of life, you know. That's at the heart of becoming. Very often, your own source will lead you to a realization of a problem because it is on the path toward the solution. If you don't bring a problem into focus, you sure are not going to bring a solution into focus. And without the two of them, you will not have expansion. So it's time to make peace with the contrast in general terms and to accept that all really is well with you. Stop beating up on yourself. I'm going to show you how to feel about you the way we feel about you. And when you start feeling about you the way we feel about you, the avalanche of stuff that's in your vortex will begin flowing into your experience in such a profound and magnificent way that you may very well say, stop the goodness, I can't take any more. Nah, you're gluttons, you'll like it all. So, what do you want to talk about? Some things. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a really good day. Just try a little bit to realize the perfection of your path, rather than it's a step backward, or it's not moving as fast as I want, or it doesn't have these details. Instead, I'm right where I want to be. The timing is perfect. The timing is perfect. Isn't that perfect timing? Bridge falls, truck supports it long enough, nobody gets hurt. Perfect timing. Things of this physical world are dissolving, they are evolving, but timing. You have the option of what you call perfect timing. Timing, synchronization, rendezvous. Hear the harmony of those words. So the first harmony or rendezvous that you're seeking is that of source. Timing sometimes could be a condition. In other words, I need something to happen in such and such a time. You can turn timing into a condition that will bite you in the foot. Let us just give you these words, it'll help it. I want to realize my path rather than go find my path. My path is coming to me, and I'm preparing myself for the realization that it's there.
Big difference.
It's a big difference. My path is coming to me. Am I realizing it? Have I created the mood or atmosphere that allows me to see it? And once you get on that trail, once that starts happening, it feels like there's the path, and there's the path, and there's the path. That's that feeling of momentum that you get. There's the path, and there's the path, and there's the path, and there's the path, and there's the path. And what Esther began to notice is not only is she now able to feel that's a piece of the path, and that's a piece of the path, and that's a piece of the path, but whoops, I just stepped off the path. Because you can feel when you're on the path, and you can feel when you're not, but it's just through that comparative feeling. It's not that anything ever is awful, it's just that some things are more on the path than others. Some things are more on the path than others. Things that make you feel really wonderful are more on the path than things that make you not feel wonderful. But things that make you not feel wonderful are not off the path. It's just the things that really, really feel good are more on the path, you see? When Kate was little, Esther and Jerry played a game with her. Kate was really little. And the game was, Kate would hide something in this big room, and then they would play hot and cold to find it. And she would say, you're getting warmer when they were getting closer to it, and you're getting colder when they would get further away from it. Jerry used to deliberately do the opposite, just to play with her, and she would say, colder, 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 colder. It's colder, Jerry. You're getting colder, which means go the opposite way of where you're going. And if they would listen, since she knew where it was, if they would let her guide them with warmer, colder, warmer, colder, warmer, colder, they found it every single time. And that's how it is with your inner being. Your inner being knows where it is. But your inner being not only knows where it is, your inner being knows which path has the probability of satisfying the most things that are in your vortex. Sometimes the most direct route is what you think you want. Sometimes the most beautiful route is what you want. Sometimes the route that meanders you in a place that you've never been is the route that you want. But your inner being always knows what you want and what the priorities in that vortex are, and is always guiding you to your greatest satisfaction every step of the way. You just got to practice this a little bit so that you can feel the vibe of the trail. By holding steady the vibration of where you want to be, so that when you step away from it, you feel colder, and when you step toward it, you feel warmer. By not moving around. When Jerry and Esther first met us, there was a couple that knew about Abraham, the only people that Esther allowed Jerry to tell about her weirdness. They were living in Phoenix, and so one night, Esther got an idea. You guys go hide somewhere in the area, and it's a 50-mile this way and 50-mile this way area. Go hide somewhere. We'll get Abraham to find you. And these are the rules. We won't quit till we find you. Nobody goes home till we find you, no matter how long it takes. That was the deal. So, Wes and Nancy hid. And Jerry and Esther with Abraham are on the case. Now, Esther was not receiving fluidly like this. She was still just kind of grunting and pointing. They'd come to an intersection, and Esther would say, that way. And sometimes she'd say, it's clearly not that way, so go that way. And so they filled the car up with fuel twice that night. Ate many Snicker bars. And finally found them. And by the time they found them, Esther was so mad at us and at the whole game. She said, we are never, ever, 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 ever going to play this game again. And then Esther said, first, we went to the dumpster behind Mountain Shadows Hotel. And they said, yeah, we were there. And then they said, and then we went over behind the Regency Hotel on Scottsdale Boulevard. Yeah, we were there. And then we went over to Benihana's over on Scottsdale Boulevard. Yeah, we were there. Our inner being told us to move. So, what we're getting at is, you've launched these rockets. There's a trajectory in place before you even got into this physical body, and you've been contributing to it every day since. And there's a magnificent probability there for you. And as you chill out, as you beat up on yourself less, as you appreciate yourself more, as you reach for these emotional feelings, as you allow your vibrations to go from general to more specific without wobble, as you feel your way to this, as you start enjoying clarity and harmony and humor and fun and playfulness and all of those things that come from alignment, to the degree that you consciously now choose that for yourself first and foremost at all times, then all of the details that you've been putting into your vortex over a great amount of time will begin to dovetail together in this synchronistic, beautiful unfolding that will leave you feeling sure and blessed and eager for more. There isn't anything that you need to get done. It's just that you want to live life in a joyful way. And when time is passing and you're not joyful, then something's really out of whack with that, because there's no place that you're going to get to that's going to be any better. You cannot follow an unpleasant path and end up at a destination where you want to be. And so we want the destination of where you want to be, wherever feels good from where you are right now, because that's all you can do. Feel how this all fits? You've been listening to us for a while? You have, haven't you? You've been with us through the Law of Attraction series. Did you go upstream and downstream with us? Were you on the high-flying disc with us? Did you get in the vortex with us? And now we're asking you to create an atmosphere so that you can turn your thoughts to things. In other words, you've been listening to us for a while, and everything that we've been talking about from the beginning of our first interaction with you is to help you to understand that you are pure, positive energy looking for a place to be glad. That's who you are. You're just looking for a place to have a wonderful experience now. And if you're having less than a wonderful experience, something's out of whack, and it's not us. Because we're having a wonderful experience. We're having a wonderful experience. And if you're not, it's because you're doing something different than we're doing. You're thinking differently about it, you see. You've got this figured out. Just be playful about it. And take score less of the time. Let the score that you take, if you must take score, be, how fun is this? Esther says to us every day that her favorite feeling is clarity. And then she'll say, or fun. I want to feel clear, but I like to have fun. And then she'll say, fun is my favorite thing. I love being playful or clear. I love to be clear and playful. I love to have fun. I love the feeling of clarity, and I love the feeling of fun, and I love the feeling of new. I love the feeling of new. I love the feeling of new, which doesn't feel clarity in the beginning, but it is fun. I love the feeling of fun that then turns to clarity. Ooh, I love fun and clarity. I just love fun and clarity so much. And new. I love the new so much. I love the new so much, but I love clarity so much. I love clarity and fun and new so much. And we say, you're on the same vibration that we are. New exposure, new experience, new life, new opportunities. You don't want sameness. You want newness. You really do. But in newness, often there is insecurity. You don't want insecurity. You want security. But sometimes the feeling of newness makes you feel insecure, and then the insecurity becomes the dominant vibration within you, so you don't reach for newness, and then you get bored. And then you get going on that cycle, you see, where if we could convince you, and we believe we nearly have, that you have control over the way you feel, that if you will take a notebook and just simply write these emotional words and stay focused on them long enough that you actually feel movement within your vibrational center, you will push the reset button. You will change your point of attraction. You will change your relationship with everything and everyone. You could accurately say that the contrast that so many humans think they would like to do without is literally the stuff that puts the eternalness in eternity. Because if it were not for that contrast, expansion would not happen. And the source within you always rides the rocket of expansion and stands as the culmination of all that you are. That which you are before you were born, that which you have become now that you're in this body, that which this life experience of contrast has given birth to, the culmination, the leading edge, furthermost place of that which you have become. So we call this gathering the art of allowing. And what it really means is allowing me in my human form to be up to speed with what life has caused me to be. Allowing me to be in vibrational alignment with the fullness, with the wholeness of all that I am. And the better you feel, the closer you are to that. The worse you feel, the further you are from that. You can't really get very far from it, because even if you pinched yourself off with negative thoughts of doubt and worry and fear and despair for a long time, maybe even your whole life, even if you did that in the moment of your reemerging back into physical, in what you call the death experience, we like to call it the croaking experience. We like to be as disrespectful of death as we can be, since there is no such thing. When you withdraw your attention from this physical time-space reality and you reemerge into that which you truly are, you get right up to speed with all that life has caused you to be, and you feel the elation of that expanded beingness. This Art of Allowing workshop is about you figuring out how to, day by day, moment by moment, really thought by thought, get into vibrational alignment with the expanded version of you. And the reason that that is so important is because if you don't stay up to speed with what life has caused you to become, you don't feel good. You're not living the life you intended to live. You're sort of, if you will forgive the bulky analogy, like a two-headed monster, and we just want both heads to get going in the same direction. When the source within you is loving you and you are mad at you, you're tearing yourself apart. When the source within you is loving that which you have called your enemy, and in fact would never find anyone to be enemy-like or worth condemning, when the source within you is loving whoever it is you're focused upon and you're hating them or fearing them, you're tearing yourself apart. When the source within you knows your worthiness and you don't, you're tearing yourself apart. When you are critical of yourself or anyone and source isn't, you tear yourself apart. When you doubt, source doesn't. When you fear, source doesn't. When you hate, source doesn't. In other words, the source within you is pure positive energy, and the closer you get to that, the better you feel. In fact, in that direction, you feel ease. When you don't do it, you feel dis-ease. So, positive emotion means me in my physical body right now, by virtue of whatever it is I'm giving my attention to, have found vibrational alignment with source energy. And under those conditions, if you hold steady in those kinds of thoughts, you thrive. But if you are consistently worried or angry or fearful, if you are watching CNN and believing what they're telling you, if you are holding yourself in vibrational alignment with the idea that you are not in control of your own experience, if you are being brought to a place of feeling no power, then you are holding yourself consistently in a vibration of separation. That's too strong of word, but we want to make the point. Of separation from who you really are. And under those conditions, you will not continue to thrive. You are source energy. And there is this wonderful buffer of time between the thought that you think and what actually manifests, because after all, you're not only offering a vibration based upon what you're thinking right here, this red hot minute. You are offering a vibration about who you really are. Are you getting a sort of sense of this duality? You are source energy who is in a physical body and therefore allowed to think and expand. When you are thinking thoughts that are in alignment with the way Source sees it, when you're looking at life through the eyes of Source, you love the life you see and you thrive within it. But if you find things to fuss and worry about, and you do it consistently, then you begin to activate vibrations within you that consistently do not allow the fullness of the energy that is really you. And under those conditions, you don't feel so good. Now you can blame everyone under the sun for the negative emotion you feel. You can blame your mate, you can blame your children, you can blame your parents, you can blame your government. In fact, you can blame anybody that you choose. But we want you to know that no one is responsible for this vibrational gap between you and you other than you. You have total empowerment to do something about closing that gap. We acknowledge there are rascals out there that drive you nuts. We acknowledge that there are pieces of contrast that when you look at them make you feel like you want to pull all of their hair out, and maybe yours too. But we want you to understand that you've got to get control of your thoughts without demanding that they do something different. When they need to do something different, you're asking for a very conditional love. You're saying, those conditions please me, but those don't. So those conditions that don't please me need to be changed so that I can be pleased. And isn't that the basis of most parental control? Isn't that the basis of most governmental control, or even most religious control? Those conditions don't please me. What are the odds, do you think, that this source energy that man calls God, all powerful, would really need to change those conditions so that I can be pleased? We want you to understand that that which man calls God and that which we know as Source has got this figured out and does not need your compliance in order to feel good. That would be a pretty limpid God, in our opinion. If God were really to say, I want to feel good, but you are not pleasing me. Therefore, I do not feel good, and therefore, I will blow you all up. I will give you one more millennium to comply. And if you continue to displease me, dysfunctional God that I seem to be, and we are wanting you to understand that that which is source energy is always pleased, because that which is source energy understands the whole cycle of things, knows the eternal expansion, and knows the well-being nature of all that is. But you, in your physical form, you can use any excuse in the world to not be in vibrational alignment with who you are. And as you choose thoughts that source does not choose, you feel rotten. And then you run around and you're feeling rotten and you say, I feel rotten. You need to stop doing that, and you need to stop doing that, and you need to stop doing that. And we say, what you are really wanting to do is to discover the freedom that only comes in unconditional love. The freedom that comes in aligning with the source within you and looking at the world through the eyes of source. And when you do, you feel worthy. And when you do, you feel and are love. When you do, you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You are the powerful creative genius that you are. You are the extension of source. You are the physical human embodiment of source. And you are then and only then living the life that you intended to live when you came forth into this physical body. Humans commonly say to us, Abraham, if I was pure positive energy before I was born into this body, and I'm going to bang around and then I'm going to return to pure positive energy, why did I bother to come forth and bang around? Why would I not just stay in the pure positive energy? And we say, because the expansion is so exhilarating to all of us, because you knew the power of the contrast, you knew that it would give birth to another rocket of desire, you knew you would then have the life-giving, exhilarating experience of consciously using your ability to focus to turn in the direction of what you've asked for, and because you knew that the joy is in the journey, not in the completion of the journey. We never see you make a plan for a vacation. You say, oh, I'm going to 10 cities. I'll go to this city and 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 this city, and then I'll come back home. We never ever hear you say, oh, let me look at this objectively. Home is my final destination, and I am home. Why go? I think I'll just check this vacation off my list. Vacation has been accomplished. And we say, you don't go on the vacation to get it done. You go on the vacation for the fun along the way, for the insight, for the expansion, for the exhilaration, for the opportunities, for the expression of life. Can you imagine Jerry Nestor saying to their river guide, where will this raft come out of the river? And he would say, oh, many miles downstream, close to Fort Collins. And so they say, well then, we would like to put our raft back on the bus, and we would like to drive it downstream, and we will put the boat in the river about 50 yards from where we're going to take it out, because we like instant manifestation. And he would say, all right, crazy lady, but I thought you wanted a ride on the river. And that's what we want to say to you. We know you wanted the ride on the river. You wanted to come forth. You wanted to be you. You wanted to explore your contrast. You wanted to know what you don't want so you could know what you do want. You wanted to personally give birth to those rockets of desires, because you knew when you did, law of attraction would respond to the rocket of desire that you'd given birth to. And you knew that as law of attraction is responding to that rocket of desire, you knew that a current would be created, and you knew you would be summoned toward that current. You knew that you would be able to feel the current, and you knew when you turned in opposition to it, you'd feel it, and you knew when you turned toward it, you would feel it. You knew that this was going to be an easy thing. You knew the contrast, no matter what it was, would inspire a better condition, and you knew when you turned in the direction of it that you would live the better condition, and you knew that with everything that you allowed, you would also get a new platform from which to create. In other words, contrast causes you to give birth to a rocket. You turn in the direction of the rocket of desire. You become a vibrational match to it, and it manifests. And now you have a new platform. You give birth to another rocket of desire. You turn in the direction of it. You become a vibrational match to it, and it manifests. Now you have a new set of contrasting experiences, which gives birth to another rocket of desire. You turn in the direction of it. You become a vibrational match to it, and it manifests. And you say, you mean I don't ever get it done? And we say, that's right. You're eternal. There is no ending. And you say, then, tell me one more time, why do I do all of this? Why do I keep doing it? And we say, for the fun of it. And you say, it's not really been all that much fun. And we say, then that's because you're not consistently going in the direction of what life has caused you to ask for. Friends, we get it. We understand. We know it's miserable when life causes you to ask for this and you point that way. That's horrible. Don't do that. We don't blame you for questioning your reason for being if you're pointed against the current of life. But you were born with guidance, and now you know better. Now you know negative emotion means you're pulling against who you have become. So then you say, well, what do I do about those others who are outside of me, who aren't excited about me following my bliss? And we say, when you really get to the point that you're following your bliss, they won't be a problem, because if you are consistently in a vibration of positive emotion, law of attraction won't match you up with them. If you're getting matched up with a whole bunch of ornery people, you're ornery. If people are giving you trouble in traffic, you're trouble. Jerry said, when he first met us through this format, I think that there should be islands of incarceration. The perfect judicial system. We'll put all the rapers on one island and they can do it to each other. We'll put all the killers on one island, they can do it to each other. We'll put all the burglars on one island, they can burglar each other. And we said, you already have those islands. Vibrational islands. And the audience said, how can that be? How would the one who is murdered end up on the same island as the one who murders? And we say, same vibration. In other words, whether you are murdering because you feel despair and you've moved into revenge and no one's allowed you to move further from it. In other words, isn't that what happens? You're in despair, you naturally move into revenge, and then your society says, oh no, revenge is not appropriate. This is as far as you go on the revenge ladder. So you go despair, revenge, despair, revenge, despair, revenge. Have you been following the lives of the serial killers? Have you read about what their life was like? Listen to any one of those stories, and what you hear is about someone who as a child was not encouraged into his alignment. And every time he made the effort to move forward, he was stopped by a system or a society or someone bigger and stronger who says, you're not allowed to feel that way, rather than encouraged to move right on through it into something that was more in alignment. We promise you that if someone presses a pillow to your face, you will flail about. And if your government has laws against flailing about, then where do you go? What do you do when a pillow is pressed to your face and you're flailing about and then they say, oh no, flailing about is not allowed?